You know, today's news really inspired me, because just imagining Brie Larson's face when she hears or heard about that, I already felt a kind of surge of cheerfulness. And what's the point, you'll ask? The fact is that lately we have already repeatedly heard the news from various sources that the Marvel bosses regret their decision when almost all the key Avengers and especially the general favorites Cap and Tony were taken out immediately after Endgame. And now must be an opportunity to return at least the last two back, which of course is opposed by Brie, who has already procured a leading place in the MCU for her Carol Danvers. It seems that now we know how exactly everyone's favorites will return. So Captain, take it easy. Hey everybody! Yes, as I said a little earlier, we began to receive information that Tony and Steve Rogers are supposed to return. At first, it was said that Iron Man can return in a new project about his successor, which would recreate something like Stark's artificial intellect, and he in turn would appear in the form of a hologram, as it was already in Endgame. Then we were informed that Kevin Feige would like to return the common favorites in the second Captain Marvel, because the events of the Carol Danvers sequel will happen before Endgame, so that both Cap and Stark are still alive there. But Brie herself wasn't delighted with this venture, being afraid that her heroine would be overshadowed, and trying to oppose such decision as much as possible. And now the last thing. Anyway, we are informed, according to unconfirmed information of course, that Marvel has already figured out exactly how to return Captain America and Iron Man to the MCU seriously and for a long time. As for the first one, Chris Evans himself hinted earlier that his character perhaps is not done. And now we are told that Cap is supposed to return to the new team of the Avengers in a new timeline, where he will help the heroes to fight their next enemy, which will now become Kang the Conqueror. According to rumors, at first Cap will appear in the form of an old man, as we saw him in Endgame, and then I don't know with the help of which means he'll find a way to regain his former shape. I'm sure the screenwriters will come up with something at the end if they wish. But everything is even more interesting about Tony Stark. Downey Jr. himself has also repeatedly said since the end of Endgame that he doesn't mind returning, and that he sees his coming back precisely in partnership with Chris Evans. As for Tony Stark, Marvel decided to play with him a game of hologram and artificial intellect, as previously reported. At first, the Playboy philanthropist will have to appear only as a voice for the Spider-Man suit, and then Tony's artificial intellect, created by his student Riri Williams, will develop so much that it will be able to recreate a body for itself, identical to what it has been before, and in such a weird way Stark will anyway return to the MCU. So at first the guys decided that they can do whatever they want and freaking kill almost all their former heroes. And now the MCU management will go out of their way to invent how to return them neatly. It is very indicative for me, and maybe this alignment will slightly calm down the exorbitant ambitions of Disney and the MCU leadership. As for Brie Larson, just imagine what will happen with this lady when she realizes that the whole old team is returning, so she doesn't have the chance to become almost the sole star, as Brie had already dreamed of, and now she has to return to her place, determined by the hierarchy of the cinematic universe, exactly behind the main characters and common favorites. Damn, I would give a lot to see how Larson reacts to that, but alas, we will not see this, so we can only dream up in the comments. I hope that all of the above in this video will be confirmed, because of course this is unofficial info for this time. Actually, that's all for now.